Yo, 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 Big Kiss back up in here. Hey, shout out to Berlin. I hope I'm saying that name right. Shout out for that Cash App donation, man. Shout out to all those that's been giving Cash App donation over time, but shout out to you, Berlin. Shout out to you. We are about to go over how Luther is the best record on GNX. This one, I think this is a dope one. This is a dope one, y'all. I think this is a dope one. I only seen like a couple seconds of it, and I seen where it was going. And I think this is a dope breakdown. You know what I mean? I haven't looked at the whole video, but I know y'all going to enjoy it. Y'all let me know what y'all think about it in the comment section, and then hopefully we, get some more. Hopefully they drop some more, whatever. But yeah, we about to go over this, how Luther is the best song on GNX. Y'all know I'm like holding y'all. Without further ado, let's get it.
On November 22nd, 2024, Kendrick Lamar dropped his sixth studio album, GNX. As someone who's been publishing papers about Kendrick since To Pimp a Butterfly, I was super excited to do a full album coverage video when I heard that GNX had dropped. After all, I predicted that he'd drop on Thanksgiving, which was a week later than GNX actually came out. I'd already been working on predicting possible themes of the post-Miss Morale,
Also, he be doing papers on it. I got to look into this guy. Y'all make sure y'all go subscribe. We'll leave a link in the description.
Kendrick. And one of those themes was revolution, specifically revolution as it relates to the fundamental tenets of Kendrick's faith. And I was hoping to pre-script a video with predictions about what Kendrick might say along these lines. In fact, I did pre-script a bit of the video about this theme, and some of that script made it into this video. After listening to the album, though, I knew I had to scrap the whole album approach immediately and get right to the goods. I had to start with what's unequivocally the best and maybe most important track on the album. Luther. Luther's a sleeper track for a Kendrick album, mostly because it's presenting as a love song akin to Love from Damn. But believe me when I tell you this song hit me incredibly hard from the first moments it played on my very first listen to GNX. And not just because I absolutely no holds barred love Luther Vandross. When it comes to Luther Vandross, there's never too much. This song is interesting for about 10,000 reasons, but let me give you a few off the top before we tear the hood off this Grand National and see what kind of engine it has. Luther's the only song on this album that doesn't have an explicit tag. It's a song for everyone. It's also the song with the richest revolutionary history in its sample. While the sample used by K-Dot on the album is the Cheryl Lynn and Luther Vandross iteration recorded in 1982, that song is itself a cover of a song originally written solely by Marvin Gaye and performed with the legendary Tammy Terrell on their album United in 1967. So yeah, at first glance, Luther's title seems like a reference to Luther Vandross, right? Well sure, but that's just the first layer here. Luther Vandross's suave voice and indomitable career as a romance-centric R&B and soul artist are a cover for the real horsepower.
Dad, that was Luther back in the day, but he said he about to peel these layers back. Let's get it.
Beneath this absolutely critical record off GNX. Luther stands for more than just Vandross, but for revolution itself. It ties us directly to the Christian theologist and revolutionary Martin Luther, whose work generated the Protestant Reformation and pushed us into modernity when it comes to religion and sociology, and Martin Luther King Jr., of course, who Kendrick consistently references with every single record he works on. Before we get into the revolutionary nature of Luther, let's look at the lyrics of the cover and compare them quickly to get a sense for how Kendrick has lifted the themes but altered them to make them his own. In both Gaye's and Vandross's version, the message is clear. If this world were mine, I'd place at your feet all that I own. In short, if I had it all, if I had everything, I'd give it all just to have you. A classic Vandrossian sentiment, to be sure. Nothing's worth anything but love, after all. For Kendrick, though, a different sentiment arises completely. If this world were mine, Roman numeral 7...
That goes with that scripture that said, a man falls head over heels for women. Men lose their wits over women. So that's true, because if a man build, at the end of the day, all he wants is that warm, hot love. You know what I'm saying?
They drop it like it's hot. If this world was mine, I'd take your dreams and make them multiply. If this world was mine, I'd take your enemies in front of God, introduce them to that light, hit them strictly with that fire. It's a vibe. Do your dance. Let them watch. She a fan, he a flop. They just want a kumbaya. Nah. In short, Kendrick is suggesting that she's perfect, represented by the way numerologists read the number 7 throughout the Bible, starting with Genesis and God's creating the world in 7 days. Then he goes on to reference Snoop's Drop It Like It's Hot, which of course lends to the West Coast aesthetic to GNX, but that line is directly connected to his taking her enemies in front of God and hitting them with that fire, i.e., dropping them in hellfire through judgment. The line which follows the first, in my opinion, is a reference to
they hit him with that fire. Ha ha. Ha 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 ha.
None other than the man himself, Martin Luther King Jr., and taking her dreams and making them multiply. He's referencing the sevenness of the world that would occur if it was his, a kind of perfection where all men are created equally and everyone's seen as equals, except for the enemies of culture, i.e., except for them, except for those who he has to make a choice for. Obviously, this is about Drake and them, but let's just assume that this is about the plural. Fuck everybody. This is really powerful symbolism, and it leads us directly into the major theme found in this track that really elevates it to the next level: religious revolution. As a social philosopher and professor of sociology, something that's continued to stand out to me album after album is Kendrick's dedication to revolution in the real academic sense as well as in the practical hip-hop sense. This relates to his considerations of whether the revolution will or will not be televised or understood, and of course, his heroes from Tupac to Nelson Mandela, Malcolm X, and MLK Jr. But it's more than that. Kendrick's work specifically denotes the ways in which revolution relates directly to his faith. The nature of Protestant Christianity, after all, owes the biggest debt to its primary revolutionary, Martin Luther. Without Martin Luther, the father of Lutheranism, and the original pensmith who critiqued the church for its selling of indulgences or tickets to heaven, as well as the idea that the gospel wasn't taught to the people in their native language, but in Latin, by priests who often themselves didn't speak Latin, but were just regurgitating what they themselves had memorized. You can't memorize culture, and you can't regurgitate authenticity. Likewise, Kendrick often critiques the idea of buying one's way into heaven, and also continuously harps on people who don't speak the gospel of the streets in a language they can understand. In fact, these are both criticisms levied at Drake throughout the beef in some capacity.
Damn.
But this video isn't about Drake.
Damn. You can't remember culture and you can't regurgitate authenticity. Whoo! Bars!
At least not in focus, because, well, fuck Drake. Nobody got time for that. It's December now.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
The point I'm making here is that while Kendrick doesn't cite himself as belonging to any particular denomination of Christianity, Martin Luther's revolutionary effects are felt in Kendrick's music wholeheartedly. There's no question that Luther's early use of the print.
That's because the denominations of Christianity is all invented. Y'all look up the denominations of Christianity. The Baptist, that was recently created in 18-something. You got Seventh-day Adventist was created, and what they did was take little parts of the Bible and made whole religions out of it. But as we all know, you and I, we know that the Bible is about the Israelites. That's what it's about. All this new Christianity stuff, it's not. No, it's not. So yeah, all that Baptist and all. Look up the chart, and it lets you know which person started it. If I could look it up, and I'll show y'all like that.
Printing press to print Bibles in the language of the common person has a direct connection to the ways that Kendrick raps about his own experiences in the common Los Angeles tongue. Revolution through the lens of Protestant Christianity is one of the most prevalent themes throughout Dot's discography, but it's more cryptically in our face now than ever. Mr. Morale gave us its most blunt expression with the Tiffany & Co. crown of diamond thorns and his reminder that he is not our savior. But GNX has offered us a whole new set of layers through which to view this incredible thematic thread which runs through the first moments of Section 80, all the way up through the absolute no-skip banger that's GNX. Before I fall off the path and convince myself to go back and do the whole album in one shot, let's focus up. Luther, Luther, Luther. Kendrick has continuously referenced the great Martin Luther King Jr. over and over throughout his career. Notable mentions are found in High Power, Fuck Your Ethnicity, Ignorance is Bliss, Monster Freestyle, I Am, Backseat Freestyle, and of course the masterpiece that is Mortal Man.
Oh yeah, y'all go subscribe, man. This one of them real researchers right here. He's one of the real researchers right here.
Let's not forget that MLK Jr. and Tupac cross themes in Luther too. This means that Martin Luther King Jr. is mentioned on every album, up through to Pimp a Butterfly explicitly. And of course, the thematic presence of MLK Jr. is everywhere all over Damn, but that might be another video too. Martin Luther King Jr. was a quasi-Marxist revolutionary pastor who was named after Martin Luther, the father of Protestant Christianity. Himself a revolutionary, the civil rights movement would forever be indebted to MLK Jr., and so would our great city of LA, where MLK Boulevard stood until it was renamed after another critical black man, Barack Obama. I've long argued that Kendrick is something of a socialist, but I think that's better saved for a published paper than a video.
Hold on, because I don't like the way he keep putting these people up there. Hold on, let me see something, y'all. All right, here we go, y'all, because I don't want nobody getting confused as far as what he's talking about. Him trying to mix Martin Luther King with I never heard of the other guy. But when we look into religions, it has nothing to do with the Bible itself. The Bible is talking about the 12 tribes of Israel: Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Simeon, Zebulun, Ephraim, Manasseh, Gad, Naphtali, and Issachar. Those are the 12 tribes that the Bible is talking about. Most people that's in America, most of the people that's been downtrodden in America, the blacks, those are the tribe of Judah. Then you got the Haitians, tribe of Levi. Then you got, all tribes are, scattered across the earth. But this man-made stuff right here. All right, let me get that down right there. Because we got to go over this. That's really what this channel is about, is to get people into the knowledge and the truth of what's going on. So man-made religion. John Smith created the Baptist religion in 1608. Charles Parham created the Pentecostal religion in 1901. This is recent stuff. None of this stuff ain't in the Bible. You might got the word like Baptist in the Bible. These words might be in the Bible. Such as things like Thanksgiving. The word Thanksgiving is in the Bible. But as far as them making a whole thing about it, that's not the case. That is not the case. Man-made religion. Joseph Smith created the Mormon religion in 1830. Charles Taze Russell created the Jehovah's Witness religion in 1872. So when your aunties, your grandmas, and all of them be on the corner and they trying to give you this pamphlet with John 3:16 and telling you to hold hands with everybody while they punch you in your face, tell them about this. Y'all screenshot this chart and look it up. Cause I don't like I really got a zeal for this. William Miller created the Seventh-day Adventist religion in 1863. So y'all gotta look. Y'all gotta know how to separate the Bible from all this man-made stuff. God gave you rules. You know what I'm saying? God gave you a list of rules. Love your neighbors. No, everybody on this earth is not your neighbor. Don't be around here hugging and loving on everybody. And why they punch you in your face, trying to stab you in the back, and you up here treating your actual neighbor mean. You know what I'm saying? So without getting, because I don't think YouTube like like people talking about this, but it's the truth. So what could they say? You know what I mean? But yeah, we're gonna get back into the video, but I just wanted to, cause I see the images, I see where he going with the images and all that, and we gotta go ahead and nip that in the bud, because when we don't see our image, we get the idolizing other people, if you know what I'm talking about. Y'all look up the baby doll experiment. When you show the kids the baby doll, you show the kids the image of themselves, and you show the kids the image of somebody else, they'll start calling the image that look like themselves ugly. So imagery is very powerful. So we must nip this in the bud right now before your boy start to show more images on the video. You know what I mean? Because we not doing that. We not doing that. But yeah, we're going to get back into the video. Hold on. Yeah, and this, I mean, I got a real passion for this. Like, I've got a real passion for exposing the lies. You know, putting false images out there, saying that this is the image of this person, but it's really not. And it's destroying our people's minds. You know what I mean? Like stuff like this. Like maybe it was a guy named Martin Luther. I don't know. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? But when we replace images When we replace images with other images, that's called whitewashing. I don't like that. I don't like that. Because we don't do that. I don't put my face on Alexander the Great and be like, yeah, this is Alexander the Great. Nah, hold on. Nah, that's a big kiss right there. We don't do that. You know what I'm saying? I just don't. I don't like that because it destroyed the people's mind. Hey, sorry for going on this spill, but I'm not sorry because the work of the Lord must be done. You know what I mean? So let's get back to the video, y'all. Let's get it.
Video like this. MLK Jr. is well documented as championing both theological equity as well as democratic socialism, writing in 1952 to his wife, Coretta, "I imagine you already know that I'm much more socialistic in my economic theory than capitalistic. Capitalism started out with a noble and high motive, but like most human systems, it fell victim to the very thing it was revolting against. So today, capitalism has outlived its usefulness." Likewise, he notes in a 1966 speech to his staff that when it comes to civil rights movements generally, we're saying that something is wrong with capitalism. There must be better distribution of wealth, and maybe America must move toward democratic socialism. I think it's critical to note here that Martin Luther King Jr. didn't accept the fundamental tenets of communism, but was definitely amenable to Marx's general critique of capital. MLK's general rejection of Marx stands, of course, on Marx's rejection of religion itself. Marx famously noted that religion is the opiate of the masses, tending to pacify the proletariat out of action in this.
Y'all look up things like Russian icons. Look up the books with the halo around it. Most men, they look like look like us. The catacombs and all the paintings on the wall and all of that look like people like us. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, whitewashing. You gotta be careful. You know what I mean? The imagery is very powerful. It'll have you worshiping other people. God don't want you worshiping people.
This world. But as MLK Jr. would note, and Kendrick thusly as one of his successors, in this world, dreams matter when praxis, or the practice of theory, is involved. And religion can be a great motivator for such praxis when wielded by the right charismatic individual. The through line from Martin Luther, father of Protestant Christianity and revolutionary, through Martin Luther King Jr., up through Tupac, and then Kendrick Lamar, is clear as day. K-Dot completes the final bit of the first verse by suggesting that she a fan, he a flop, they just want to kumbaya. Nah. I've seen different takes on the internet that people think that he's talking about SZA as a fan of Kendrick, and Drake as the flop. Likewise, it seems like a lot of people think this is a reference to Not Like Us with the mantra of he a fan, he a fan, he a fan. But I can't make sense of that in this context. I think it's much more likely a reference to women who are still looking to Drake as he's referenced in Not Like Us. Drake is, of course, the flop. But the real focus here is on how Drake's camp, or the other camp, would really love to come to a compromise in this battle, but Kendrick refuses. After all, he says he wants peace, but he loves war. Evidence for this interpretation can be found elsewhere on the album, such as Kendrick telling listeners that it's better to have one woman right now, and in his back and forth with himself on his inability to stop stoking the fires between him and others. This is another theme that remains prevalent.
Man, he was like, I never piece it up. That shit don't sit well with me. Before I make a truce, I take him to hell with me. But when you couple that with Reincarnated, when he was talking to God, when he was acting like, God, he was like, you preach peace, but you love war. He said, no, I don't. He said, hey, you got to get this hate out of your heart. Everybody that's around you is a reflection of yourself. That's why he said, before I make a truce, I take him to hell with me. So he know, like, I hate this motherfucker, I gotta go to hell. I'm gonna have to go to hell because I hate this dude so damn much. But in Reincarnated, when he was talking, he was acting like the guy, he was acting like God, and he was talking to him, he was like, you gotta get that hate out of your heart first. How you preaching all this people? You gotta get that hate up. But that's with everybody. The spirit wrestles against the flesh. Your spirit is willing, but your spirit is willing, but your flesh is weak because we was born into this earth. We was born into hell. This world is hell because of the rulers. The rulers of this earth is wicked. So we born into this wickedness. We born into this wickedness, and throughout your life, you have to change who you are, what your surroundings made you into. you must change that person. So life is a test. And this is what we get with Kendrick. He's letting you know, I'm working on myself. I'm walking, I'm running 6 miles a day, conditioning my wind. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. You should be doing it as well. What are you doing to change yourself? Because we brought into this wicked earth. It's a trial. It's a test. It's a test run. You get to cast his ass back to earth. Cast his ass back to hell. Because he ain't learned his lesson yet. I'm telling you, this shit goes deep, bro.
Beginning with his earliest tracks, seen through the pinnacle of his fire-stoking control verse, and of course, seeing it cool a bit with To Pimp a Butterfly and Damn, only to top back out after Mr. Morale. Speaking of To Pimp a Butterfly, let's double back to the idea of dreams in the first verse, coupled with the first line of verse 2, where SZA sings, "In this world, concrete flowers grow. Heartache only doing what she know." In my opinion, this is a reference to Tupac's poem, "The Rose That Grew from the Concrete." In this poem, Tupac writes, "Did you hear about the rose that grew from a crack in the concrete? Proving nature's law is wrong, it learned to walk without having feet. Funny it seems, but by keeping its dreams, it learned to breathe fresh air. Long live the rose that grew from the concrete when no one else ever cared." From the perspective of philosophy of poetry, we could discuss just this poem in its own video, and maybe we should, but let's look at it only in the context of this song, and especially through the lens of revolution. Nature's law here is that which is
This my thing. Like who the fuck is this dude? Why he ain't mentioned this? Who is this? Like, did I miss his name? Or who is the? Why are you putting these images up here? Keep it funky, bro.
breathe fresh air. Long live the rose that grew from the concrete when no one else ever cared. From the perspective of philosophy of poetry, we could discuss just this poem.
So he's the one who started the rose that grew from the concrete, or he's the philosopher of poetry? I don't know. But my thing is that I don't like when it's being forced upon us that other people are great. Like, who the fuck are we? That be my thing. I ain't got none. I'm not racist. None of that shit. It's impossible for me to be a racist. I just don't like when I like shit is forced upon me. Like we ain't like we not important. We don't matter. You know what I mean? It's many images out there you could put, but I got this thing called the TV test. You hit a channel. Every time you hit a channel, the first person you see, you get a point. The first person, it's two people. The first person the other person see is a point. You either get black or you get white. Guaranteed, the white wins all the time. It's that imagery. Every channel you flick, all right, who is that? What's the first person you see? White, flicked another channel. White, flicked another channel. White, flicked another channel. You on like your 20th channel. You might get a black person. The other person you challenging might get a black person. But you keep flicking the channels. That's the imagery. I'm telling you, and it goes into idolatry. You thinking you looking at somebody else as superior. This is the conditioning. This is the conditioner that must be combated. You know what I mean? I just thought I hate that shit.
In its own video, and maybe we should, but let's look at it only in the context of this song, and especially through the lens of revolution. Nature's law here is that which is oppressed will stay oppressed. In the case of the rose, it needs light to photosynthesize and grow, but the concrete prevents the sunlight from reaching the seed. Nature requires certain abilities in order for an organism to overcome, and lacking those abilities, the rose grows anyways. This is very reminiscent of the poem Throughout To Pimp a Butterfly, which culminates in Mortal Man, but I digress. This rose grew from the concrete by keeping its dreams, and if this world was Kendrick's, he would multiply the rose's dreams. He'd make it possible for all concrete flowers to grow in his perfect world. There's so much to say about what it might mean for a rose to learn to breathe fresh air, as opposed to come to breathe fresh air. But let's say this before moving on.
Hey, yo, y'all go watch the video on your own. I will leave a link in the description. Y'all go check it out on your own. But you know what I mean? I can't do it. I can't do it. I appreciate what he did. It's shout out to Proof on Proof. I hope I'm saying that right. Prof on Prof. Prof or Prof, but I'll leave a link in the description. You know what I mean? Look like he did his research and all of that. But y'all go check it out yourself, man. Yeah. Big Kish signing out. I'm gone, y'all.